Hello, and thanks for joining my friends and I on the season 2 of Hanging with My Peeps. I hope you enjoyed the topics. We always go off topic, but that's the whole point. It's real talk. So join us on season 2 on Hanging with My Peeps.
Okay. Oh, and by the way, the camera is about center of the coffee table.
Oh, okay.
So if I'm looking like this, I'm looking directly into the camera.
You were looking right at the camera.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm just looking at you guys.
If you want to know. Okay. So
Hey now. Okay. All right. Hello, and here we're back for another episode of Hanging with My Peeps. And today's topic is, what is your favorite way to connect with God? And that's, is it prayer or reading or singing, and why?
And James just flew away again.
That's technology.
I just gotta keep my hands off my controllers.
Yeah, you want to get back over here and then put your controllers down for a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think it looks so stiff and weird.
Yeah, well, that's okay.
It's all right.
Your arms are awfully weird as it is, so don't worry.
Yeah. do you have your controllers higher than your shoulders?
Right.
No, they're sitting on a table lower than my
That's
shoulders.
hilarious.
That's weird.
It'll cause that one just went down. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Better. Hey,
There you go.
Don't worry about it. Little things.
Now they're on a chair.
And you're behind. You're doing some kind of exercise.
Hope they don't fall off my lap on the floor. That's all.
Yeah, that'd be best.
Yeah, I got mine on my lap.
So,
all right, I'll do it again. Let's do it again. Ready? All right. Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Hanging with My Peeps. Hey, and we have Trust over here, and we have Liv over here, and I'm Dars. And so the episode today is, what is your favorite way to connect with God? Is it prayer or reading or singing, and why? And go.
Go.
I know yours, Trust.
Yeah.
So music is that sort of thing that I like, and I like to communicate with music. Mainly singing, praising, things like that. Prayer is good. And reading, I like to read. I have to still have that hunger for the word, and that's how. Well, as far as learning about God, things about God's character, His nature. Of course, there's the scripture. Reading, studying the scriptures and things like that. But as far as worship, I would say on the most part I do it through music.
I know. Yeah.
A lot through music.
I know you love music. He loves music. I know that.
He does. Yeah.
Because that's the way it always been. Even before I was a believer, I like music, but it switched from like secular music.
There's something about raising your hands.
Right.
Yeah. To worship and gospel.
And worship. Yeah.
Because it says that God's in the midst of the praises of the people. You want to be as close to God as you possibly be. Worship is one of those ways.
Do you ever like sing a song and then kind of like like you feel tears come in your eyes, like you start to get welled up and almost like crying?
In the past, I felt that way. I don't know if something happened over time. But I still have that sense of God's presence. When I worship. But it doesn't so much move me to tears. Or I don't really get extremely emotional. But
I guess it's a girl thing.
There's a sense of God's presence.
No, I wouldn't say it's a girl's thing. I think that
there's nothing wrong with crying. I don't have
no. I think there's a certain amount of stoicism that kind of happens with guys as a general rule. But you know what I mean. And we really are. I mean, we are taught to not show as much emotions, as well as the fact that I think we're just built that way to a certain extent.
Right.
But that doesn't mean, I mean, when under the right circumstances, when you're really truly touched, you're not going to hold back tears. And when you're really being touched, you're hearing something that, Jesus, the Spirit is telling you, I planned this one out, and this one is for you, trust. You know what I mean? You're gonna be moved to tears.
Yeah, I can get emotional over things because
Yeah, I don't mean like crying, like
all the good things God do for you.
Yeah. You just feel it kind of like, like you just feel like this.
But
I don't know.
I mean, one thing I want to say about the music that you're is there's a lot of contemporary worship of it that has gotten very cookie cutter.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a problem. And it's not saying it's bad. It's good stuff. But it's to a point where a lot of times I'm like, I just don't want to hear the same 4 chords. You know what I mean? And I want to hear some different things. I want to hear some different tempos. I want to hear some different this and different that. And that's just kind of the really bad musician in me. But it's also the fact that it's like it's kind of it's made, and it's made that way. And I'll be honest with you, it is made that way so that anybody can pick up. I mean, I hear the songs on Sunday morning. Here's my schedule on Sunday morning. I hear the songs on Sunday morning. I find the chord sheets, by 1:00, and at 6:30 on Sunday nights, I'm playing them at my church small group.
Oh, no way!
Yeah.
Cool.
And the reason I'm doing that is, again, they're very cookie.
Right.
And I'm not complaining about it. It is kind of there is a level of the common denominator issue of it. You don't want to really veer too far off and whack people out in church. And when you look, everybody has a Caleb station, right? And they, and how many different songs do they actually play on Caleb?
Right.
What about 20?
I remember back in the day, it's like almost like every 25th song was the same.
Exactly, and so
that.
So I'm not complaining about it because I understand what's going on, but I reach out to other forms for me that helps me do it. Like there's bands that I like. The Skillet is one. Skillet's harder. You're not going to hear this in church unless it's a special concert, like a Friday night concert where they get. You're not going to hear this. Your worship team is not going to play Skillet most of the time. A song like that, I Feel Like a Monster. You're not going to hear that one in church. Okay, okay. You're not going to hear a whole lot of Flyleaf. You're not going to hear Pillar. You ever heard of Pillar?
I've never heard of any of them.
Okay, now 1,000 Foot Crutch. These are these are bands that are. They speak to me differently than your.
It's a different genre than contemporary.
Your Hillsong.
Yeah, that's like contemporary, easy listening, easy singing kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I'm not, like I said, I like that stuff, but it is to a point where I don't listen to it in my day-to-day life.
Right.
Okay? Right. If I'm going to listen to something in my day-to-day life, I'm going to listen to something that's going to relate more to some of the things I've gone through as a person in recovery, as a person who was not always a good person, still not really a good person, but better than I was. How about that? But there's only one good, and only one is worthy, and to express that there's how I feel. When I'm thinking about what Jesus has done for me, I'm much more. Sometimes I'm too hard on myself, but I'm much more. There's some dirty stuff that he has saved me from. There's some bad things that I've done, and and they're not. I mean, a couple of them will get me locked up. Straight up. A couple of them would get me locked up, and they're not going to get confessed.
Yeah, same here. So,
and so.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And so when I'm listening to music, yes, it is very important to get the concept of worshiping Jesus. He loves you. He forgives you. You lift him up on high, and that is praising Jesus, and that is really important for our mindset at church. So when I'm talking about something, talking to God. For me, a lot of times it is a prayer thing. Where I'm praying to him for various reasons. I'm planting my garden. I'm praying to God to help me bring these things so I can have a fruitful harvest. And, but also there's just that day-to-day stuff. I'm praying for my friend Paul. Thank God he's doing all right.
Yeah.
By a car. And he had to. He bled all over the MRI machine. Okay.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, because apparently the wound was there was an arterial hit in the skin. Because you have bigger and larger arteries in your and they hit a larger one in the scalp. So it just
went really crazy. Yeah. Oh goodness.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm praying for him. I'm praying for my son. I'm praying for my grandson. I'm praying for my other son. But I'm praying for my wife, who is actually calling for me right now because she's having some trouble. I'll probably have to step off in just a second for that.
Okay.
But everything should keep going, no problem. But there's so the prayer is really a big deal for me. As I think that's to me that right now I'm in a phase in my life where that's more to me than the music. The music is really great. I think, and when I'm in, when you're worshiping in a group, that's an important thing. And that common denominator aspect of it is also an important thing. And you also don't want to have music that talks about being a monster. Okay,
Not in God's presence.
That you are a monster compared to Jesus. We know.
Because the thing is that when you want to do things that relate to God, I want to relate to Him, and I'm not going to come before God saying I feel like a monster. I mean,
and that's a confession thing. That's a confession time.
Well,
that's.
Well, I think I've gotten past that point in my life where I felt like a monster because, maybe years ago when I was younger, and trying to develop, I probably not only felt like I could have done some monstrous type things towards people. As far as the thought process, monstrous.
Yeah, that's just an example. But because there's so many songs very much like.
Sometimes songs kind of like bring you back, so you don't forget where you came from. Kinda, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
you start.
For me, I would have to be careful about what I, allow into my mind. I don't, because that's one of the reasons why I just focus.
Keep going. I will be right back.
Okay.
Yep. So I just
all right.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
see you in the second.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Where'd it go?
Hang on. Well, my camera disappeared.
So.
People, you don't know what kind of stuff we have going on here.
We are trying something new, but still a great conversation, great topic. So we're just working out some kinks, but we just brought you guys along with us as you watch us getting stuff together and for this second season, and have some new stuff coming up too. So yeah.
Yep, just keep going. I'm gonna try to get this camera back in place, but you just keep talking because we can see. Okay. There we go. Now the camera's in place. So.
There we go. Hey.
It's just as soon as hey. There we go. There we are.
Hey, my hand's stuck. That's good.
All right.
So
yeah. So try to put myself. Okay, let me go take care of my wife. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Okay.
All right.
So for mine, like I will like sing around the house, although I don't really have a voice. Actually, it's not as bad as it was because I used to smoke and it was really bad. but the Lord did kind of clean that up, so I can hold like a semi-tune if the music's like loud enough, I think. But yeah, I enjoy.
I don't think God really cares about that.
No, but I always wanted to like really be able to like sing halfway different, because I used to be in choir when I was younger, but then I started drinking and smoking, so it was like that kind of takes a toll on your voice, and then other stuff I did, workout supplements that I shouldn't have done, and so that made my voice deeper. You know what I mean? So that's why my voice sounds the way it does, because of that. And it was just always, I was just like, I just want to be able to like sing again. You know what I mean? I wasn't a great singer, but I could hold a tune and my voice wasn't so like raggedy. So now I notice it is better as far as singing, but I've always just really liked it. And so, having the gadgets that you can use and stuff like that. The one, I'm not going to say the name because otherwise he'll probably like turn on, but I got the screen and put it on my refrigerator, so when I'm in the kitchen or something like that and I want to do like praise and worship, I can have it like run through the house, and I'll just like turn it on and be like, play Christian contemporary. I'm saying, if I say it out loud, it'll probably turn it on, so I'm like, that's why I kind of whispered it, but yeah, and I'll do that. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
A computer overlord.
Yeah, it's like they hear as soon as you say something, it's like, okay, and then it's like it starts to play. So,
it responds to your voice.
Yeah. If it just hears anything slightly, what it's like, kind of recognizes, it'll just do it.
We have two of them. My son, my youngest has one in his room, and then he bought one for me for my birthday last year, and. So I'd be sitting, if I sit at the computer, which I am right now, it's kind of fun. If I say it loud enough in the right name, both of them will engage, and they're on separate accounts.
Oh.
He has his on his account, and I have mine on my account.
Right.
And so they're on separate accounts. And then I had to take mine, and I gave it a different name to respond to.
Yeah, I had to. That's what you have to do, because that's what was happening. Before, you like say something, play something, and then it's like all over. I mean, although you can have it all over the house, but still, it was kind of getting a little bit like crazy. So, yeah, but that's my favorite type of like worship. But the thing is, it makes me nuts though. It's like, all right, I had like a bunch of instruments upstairs. I had a keyboard. I had 2 Yamaha electronic drum sets. So I donated them like beginning of this year to a friend of mine that I went to church with. I had that, but I also have the tabletop drum set, which also has foot pedals to it, but it's a flat on the bottom. You can stick it on your table and play. The other ones were set up, like electronic drum sets. You know what they look like. And I was just kind of like mad with myself, because when I was drinking, I was always on the drums. I was playing worship music and stuff like that, but I was just always like playing it, you know what I mean? Like every weekend, it's like, all right, I'm putting on worship music. I'm just gonna get in my head and just, rock out and stuff like that, And then when I stopped drinking, I found myself, I wasn't really on the drums too much anymore, which kind of is backwards. So like I said, I just donated all that, but I kept my.
So you said when you're drinking, you were like playing.
When I was drinking, I was just like, and now. Yeah, and now that I'm not, I kind of got away from it. I'm like, but I was like, I'm keeping my tabletop one, which is a really nice one. It's a nice one.
Yeah.
And it sounds really good. And I'm like, I want to get back on. Every weekend, I'm like, I want to just go upstairs and get back on playing and stuff like that. So, but then too, with a lot of things, as I was saying, since I've been sick, it's like it's hard for me to get back into the swing of the stuff that I was doing, you know what I mean? And but I want to keep, I keep in praise and worship and stuff like that. But music is my go-to, praise and worship. I mean, I'm not a big reader. Matter of fact, it's kind of hard for me to almost understand stuff sometimes when I'm reading. But or I'll watch it on TV, you know what I mean? And I'll get the word that way too, but I do enjoy praise and worship, and I was like thinking about sometime too, maybe meeting up on Friday, and doing some praise and worship and whatnot, trying to figure out how to like stop this sound. I don't know. Can't even show that on the screen, can you? We're recording. I don't even think. I don't know how that work anyway, but
and I could do it. It would be,
but it'd have to be a cutaway though, constantly.
It would have to be a cutaway.
Yeah.
And there might be a way to do it. I'll have to look into it. There's so many things that I haven't looked at that just kind of require a little digging. And sometimes it's just a matter of how much time do you have to do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like we're having sound issues today, and we're going to be using audio from your headset. You're gonna put that on the Google Drive and send it to me, and I'm going to take that. I'm going to cut that right, put that right into the over the video. And that's how we're going to get sound.
Yeah, you know how to do that stuff. I'm just my brain just.
And then I'm going to get that all together, and then I'm going to Google Drive the whole file back to you.
And then go ahead and put it up there. Yep. So that'd be good. But it doesn't stop us from like sometime on a Friday, just doing praise and worship, just coming into here and getting the screen on and just doing that, not having a Peeps that evening, just getting together.
Well, and we could do it still.
But we could still do both of them, I would think.
Yeah, because if we have a couple of people recording in their headset, and then if I'm going off of the computer, we'd have some worship music going on the screen there, which it's just a matter of me. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you could probably do the traveling camera too, right?
Yeah,
because it won't focus on the screen constantly; it'll just keep rotating.
Right. Because last week when we were trying to do it, for some reason, and I think it might be because the headset it's a whole has to do with the way I'm hooked up to the computer. Because last week we had a problem, and everybody's going to be listening to this going blah 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 blah.
That's the Charlie Brown parent.
Yeah, exactly. Talking technical. Just suffice it to know, I think I know what the problem is, and I think I know how to fix it. But
that's funny.
I know I'm sitting to start babbling on about.
Who I'm thinking about when it comes to dealing with all this, the audio and video stuff, Mr. Pete.
All
kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And he also had like the drone.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
he like boom around.
Yeah.
He also does the what you call it
I don't know. He's got a bunch of different things that he's doing. He's still around. He's over in
VR.
VR chat.
Very active.
He
be in.
We were acquaintances in
I think he'd be in
VR chat.
VR chat mostly now.
Yeah, he's in VR chat. I think I've seen
both
his profile. In Horizon World.
Yeah, because he goes to Living Waters over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's around. He's still kicking around.
I'm still having trouble finding a new place to be outside of with Allspace gone. I just haven't found.
I know.
Feels his home
because that sort of covered everything there.
It did.
Speaking of how you communicate with God, it's really funny how Allspace kind of became a place for many of us.
Yeah.
Where we would actually commune and fellowship so well with so many people, with God.
Yep.
Excuse me. So, you think about that, how we use this technology to communicate in our hearts with God. And people want to complain about certain things. People want to complain about everything. Okay?
Right. Yeah.
That's just kind of how we are as a people. You want to complain about the things you don't understand or don't like. And I finally got to a point where it's like, okay, now you're talking politics. Stop it. So the way we communicated at that time, I haven't found a new home for that outside of doing this right in.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking too that there might be something too, where it would be like an app on Steam. I'm checking out different apps that way because you can build in there and stuff like that. So that's kind of like something that, because that was one of the apps where I was like telling you guys about, but it's not even out yet. It's still in like build mode kind of. So whatever, but I'm still looking at other stuff where it's more where you can. It's not in VR obviously, but you can still move around on the screen and still interact, kind of stuff. So I'm looking for something like that. But yeah, you're right. It's so hard to like find something that really meshes well like Altspace did.
And I'll be honest with you, and Altspace was awesome. But I think it was the community.
Yeah,
I mean there was functionality in the system, but it was the community that we kind of came across. There seemed to be easier to come across. I mean, there's a big screen thing that happens every night, actually, at about 9 o'clock my time, that I can go visit, and there's a few of the people from there. But we just kind of stand around and talk, which is good. But it's not really, again, it's the function. The functionality was good, but the community we had.
It's great,
yeah, it was great.
I felt that and also that it made me a whole lot more creative.
Yeah.
It was challenging, but you can do it.
For me it was easy because I was just like putting stuff there. Like one of the spaces that I really enjoyed, which basically was maybe 2 or 3 months before they closed, and that was what would Jesus do? We had the sound studio. Put a sound studio together. You were in there, and I think you were in there too. We're doing like the karaoke.
I remember you had all these rooms.
Yeah,
you had all.
And it was like
some cool stuff, and
these
doors you would go through was like a portal.
Yeah, and it was so easy just to navigate.
There was.
Yeah, it's like, hey, Trust is over there. Hey, Liv is over there. Let me just pop right in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's like you gotta. It's just
everybody's everywhere.
This world has this, maybe this, and then this.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is big screen right here. And big screen is really good. It has a lot of pluses to it. It also has a lot of negatives to it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go through the social aspect of it, it could be anything from talking about Jesus, and right next to it is they're watching porn.
Yeah, right.
So it's not. I think, and while there were plenty of
there's a bunch of different
anti-religious people.
Yeah.
Even though there were, I can say there was a lot of anti-religion in every platform.
Media.
Every platform has that, right?
Yeah.
Even in Altspace, you had that. You had.
You had some.
You did.
I only ran into like a few, but I guess too it was like the circle that I was in anyway. But
we kind of made it. We
had like our own community. You would like see some, and like when you visited like churches in there and stuff like that. But
there was, and it was good. And so we haven't found that one yet. There's been a few things. We've all looked at a few. Engage, VR chat, Horizon Worlds. There's a few out there that were interesting that have potential for us. VR chat's huge, but and it's been around for. Rec Room is so it's so basic.
There's a lot of kids.
A lot of kids there, and also VR chat.
Because I've been in there recently a few times, and it's like the kids are like they can really.
The kids are and you can make private instances, but everything, but then you're not making a community.
Right.
You're if you do.
Because when I was in there, it's mainly a game thing.
It's a gaming. It is a game thing, and one of the things that Altspace never did was they never made a paywall of any kind. So so it's not really that surprising that Microsoft closed it down because they were making no money on it.
No profit.
Right.
They were making no profit on it, and I think in their eyes, it had run its course as far as how far could they, take it to make it for feasibility for the next step. The next step is usefulness on that and run its course. And unfortunately for the for the thousands of us that were using it, unfortunately, it wasn't a viable thing for them.
But it was for us because it was awesome.
It was very vital.
So awesome.
And we keep so out there in the in the
I
world.
missed the praise and worship over there. Oh my goodness.
If you know of a place, in VR and virtual reality that is something that you really like to go to commune with God and fellowship with others. And like I said, I've looked at Horizon Worlds. I've had finding community there, and it's not. It's a lot of it is my fault, and because there's some good things that happen in there that I'm not attending on the right nights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean the same here too. I mean, I started out, checking out a couple of churches in there and stuff like that. But it's all a part of like not just being in the headset like I used to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not as well. I mean, we're also approaching spring, summer right now too. Yeah. So so it's hard for me to work in my garden with a headset.
Yeah. But they got some good stuff going on over there. But
one of my danger things that I do as the kind of person I am is I tend to cocoon up and introvert.
You too? That was just getting ready to say that's what I do.
Yeah, and
that's exactly what I do.
A lot of people in VR do that very thing. But it's to the point where it's like, you guys know that I work in my VR headset a lot. And there's a community there that I used to be in with, hang with like every single day. And we would sit in a room. It would be similar to this. And we would do what's called co-working. It's like, okay, you're doing your programming thing, you're doing you're doing your networking thing. You're doing.
Oh, I know the space you're talking about. Yeah, it's the community room kind of.
It's immersed.
Yeah.
And there's it's actually.
I know what space you're talking about. Yeah.
And so to say I haven't found it, I have to put some of that on me. Is what I'm saying. I have to put some of that on me because I'm the one that's not going into that community. I could go because I know Fox River. Is Wednesday nights. I know they're there. All I have to do is show up. I know a couple of people in there already who are there every single week.
Right.
And they're both in Horizon Worlds and they do a big screen thing. So whose fault is that I'm not in community?
I know. I want to like smack myself too for not doing it too because it's not like I have to drive anywhere. I just have to put on a headset and it's like. But sometimes like I'm just like I want to go in. But I don't feel like putting on the headset. You know what I mean? It's like it's like good grief, girl. You know what I mean? Like what is your problem here? How hard is it?
So I don't know. How about this? As a group? I don't know how your time frame is right now. I've got a lot going on. You've got a lot going on. Trust you got a lot going on. We all do. Okay, but can we get together on one place a week? We're just going to check out outside of hanging with my peeps. Is that something we can do as a group, the three of us?
I think that would be cool.
I can.
Like okay,
I can.
Yeah, it's like okay.
It
depends on time.
If I don't have to work,
Yeah.
Because
you don't have to work.
When I work, sometimes I don't. I'm not in the headset as I used to be.
No,
but I think we can make it. We can do that though. I mean, because.
But when I know a time.
And that's what I'm saying. Because I know, like Fox River is one that's pretty active in the headset.
Because one of the things I really didn't like being in my headset. I didn't really like being like on Fridays. I really didn't like being on my headset on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Especially Friday.
In alt space, that was my place though, because I could be seriously in alt space. I was in headset for 8-9 hours a day.
Yeah,
because I had all those. Because I was having different events and everything.
I know I was probably in VR more, but when I was, it was something new to me.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I was like exploring things and finding things out and meeting people.
And that was a lot of it. And I'm not saying that we should, hey, it's we should really spend a lot of time on it.
So one of the things I noticed about us three, like when we came in today, it was like sort of like the technical things. When you talk about getting together, I think that one of the reasons we should get together is get some of this technical stuff. Together before
we need to. I need to iron out a bunch more of it.
We get that together.
It's frustrating for you two, and I'm sitting there saying, "Okay, we got to move to another room because."
Oh, it's not frustrating because I know it's like.
We know things.
It's
happen,
technical stuff. We're trying something new.
I know
we're
when I'm doing my thing, I run into technical issues.
Yeah, that's just
I get
part of the
frustrated with it.
moving
I might
forward.
put it down, and I realize, I still want to do it.
Because we're still recording and we're still talking, so it's like, hey, hello, people.
We're recording.
Hello,
last week we had a big problem. We've been recording actually for almost 40 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And there's only the first 3 or 4 minutes I'm going to cut out.
I mean, that's how we do. We talk about the topic, and then we just start talking, and it's like, kind of getting stuff together. But I like that idea, though. I like your idea. So like. You're talking about like just like doing like anything, like checking stuff out.
Just doing it together, because then at least if it's a bust, at least we're with friends.
Okay.
So often I'll go into a place and we're all kind of introverted, right?
Yeah, I'm very introverted. That's partly why I don't.
I can't say that I'm an introvert.
That's partly why I don't.
I'm not really a person who makes a whole lot of noise and anything.
Yeah, so I walk into a place. I walk into a place, and if I know the people, I can be I can be forward. I can talk a lot. I love to talk.
Yeah.
But,
I was having a discussion with some people in a chat room about introversion, because there was one person in the room. He was talking about how he was very introverted. He was like discussing the subject. And then a question came on, what's the difference between like being shy and being an introvert?
I think it's pretty much the same thing.
Well, the difference between shy is sort of like, at first you may be shy until you really get to know.
Until you warm up to.
Because you may go in a different place, a new place. You feel sort of shy towards. But introversion is something. That's something different.
I'm just not a social butterfly. I'm just not.
So, the way I've learned it is, if you're shy, oftentimes that can be a confidence issue, and I think I can fall into that sometimes. Okay, I don't feel confident. Just talk. I don't feel comfortable walking up to somebody I don't know and striking.
You're just talking to me either.
I don't. Okay,
nope.
I'm not that person. Now being introverted is actually that has something to do with it. But it's also, it's how, I can be social. I can do really well in groups. But I need to be away from people for periods of time too. I actually need my alone time to recharge.
You're right.
Whereas an extroverted person, yes, they will just go up and talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the opposite,
And they want to be around people like all the time.
But they actually should get they recharge.
Yeah, when they're around a lot of people.
By being with people. By being in groups of people. By being maybe the center of attention, maybe not, but at least being around a lot of people, and they're gregarious and they're fun and they're talking. And they're
like the party.
Yeah, exactly. And so when I say we're introverted, when I say we tend to be introverted, that doesn't mean we can't handle talking to people. We can handle talking.
Yeah.
Okay, and I can talk. Trust me, I can talk.
I can talk.
But yeah, so that's one thing. But, there's the confidence side, which I think introverted people are more likely to not have as much confidence when talking to a new person. It might not even be. It might not even be
the initial meeting and approach.
Like I don't put myself out there into a big crowd. If I can avoid it, and it's not really that I try to avoid. It's just not me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not you. And
when I
I'll
warm
even
up
get
to
the
people,
point where-
then I'm good to go. But I don't go seeking out crowds.
If you put me in a crowd, and if somebody, and I can usually be comfortable for a period of time. But if I'm there for too long, I'll actually start getting anxiety. I need to get away from the crowd of people and get back with my clan. You know what I mean? Or whether it's just me. Just me is really, really the best thing. Okay, I go to church and I'm good up to a point, and then it's like I'm that person that after church I'm usually not going to hang out and talk to people.
Right.
Why? Because I've had my people time. It's time to go. It's time to get out.
It's time
to move on. And have fun. Thanks. Bye. Praise Jesus. See ya. See you next week. Yep. And and then I have a small group in the evening, which I've got to get away from the crowd. So small group in the evening, which is 5 to 10 people, depending on how many can show up.
Right.
And so that's how I am when it comes. That's how I view it that's how I view my introverting. It's not.
That's like mine.
I'm not standoffish. We put me into a crowd, I'm going to be okay. But if you put me in a crowd of people I don't know,
and it's weird too. Even in the headset, it's crazy.
Because
it's like when you're like in real life, you get it, but when you're in the headset, it's almost like the same thing. It's just you know what I mean? Because there's people behind the headset, so you're still basically with 10 people, and it can be quite unnerving. Trust, I know exactly. Exactly.
So you two are friends, and so I feel very comfortable sitting here talking to you.
Yeah.
I bear more during these things, but we have a camera on us, so, I feel pretty confident. Yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, well, there's things there's things you don't want to do. Right? But so I'm comfortable talking to you two, and having a good time. But do you remember the New Year's Eve thing? We were in this.
Yeah.
Here.
Yep. There was a bunch of people. Yep.
Yeah, and there was a bunch of people, and I was good for the most part. But there was a point in time where it was starting to get a bit much for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was only about.
I was okay on that one, sorta, but I didn't. I don't know. It's just.
It did get to a point for me.
Yeah. Because it wasn't. Well, even though I knew some of them, wasn't really my people. Yeah. I mean, how many conversations you're trying to follow? And so, obviously, I don't feel like I have to contribute to every conversation out there. But I mean, but you have a lot going on around you, and when you're not that extroverted person that's really big on all that, you're not going to do it. But I'm kind of dialing back here. Actually, I want to bring it all the way back to how you communicate with God, and I think that's one of the reasons why. I mean, corporal worship, group worship, fellowship in church is good and necessary and important, and raising your hands and worshiping Jesus is important, and I do love doing it. I love the music at that time, and I love the energy in church. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. Right.
So that's why oftentimes it is prayer and reading my Bible. That is really my communication with God, because, like I said, the worship is good. The worship, that time is good, but
I believe prayer is probably the best.
The best, and to me, the most important.
Yeah, it's the most important.
That's
something that I know that I have to improve on.
I definitely have to improve.
It's easier for me to do the music thing.
It is,
and I like to read. I like to listen to teachers and things like that.
Yeah.
The prayer thing, I know that's one of those things that I really have to improve on. That type of communication.
Yeah,
Like,
and you know, there's methods of prayer, and there's ultimately they just remember. I just try to remember it's a conversation with God.
yeah, I just talk to him. I don't I can't say I have totally, and maybe that's something I have to work on, is where, and you know, some people say, you know,
where you like
praying like a scripture,
turn everything off and just go into that prayer closet.
Well, that too, because I'm not a person. I don't like silence at all. So I have to. It's like I have to have something that's on, because when I have like just complete silence, it's like then my head starts to just kind of like, you know, like marbles rolling around. I don't like that.
Some people would say that's what you should do. Be silent and just.
Yeah, you should. But I know for me, silence is
ready to listen.
Yeah.
Be still and know that I
hear
am
what God has to say.
Yeah.
But you know, for you now,
I get he still talks to me, and I get what he has to say, because like I said, he helps me do the podcast, and right, that stuff's not coming from me, you know, but he knows, because he knows the reason why I don't like the silence, just like I don't like the dark. So and I can't, you know, I can't sleep in a dark place, a dark room, anything, so, and silence, so he knows that, so he, you know, he communicates with me in different ways, but yeah, I mean, and as far as the praying and stuff like it, you know, we were talking about the worship. For me, it's, you know, music and whatnot. We were also talking about the introvert, which is funny, because it took a while for me to even. I just started praying like out loud and talking to him out loud, because I'm like, I was thinking I'm the only one here, so well, except for Kitty Cat here, and but I'm like, I've gotten comfortable with just saying, you know, Father, and just talking to him out loud, and I'm like, why haven't I ever done that before, you know? And maybe a part of it was being shy or whatever, I don't know. It was just something that just seemed weird, but now it's like I just do it, you know what I mean? Like, it's just such a, but oh no, I hope my headset doesn't go out. I didn't even turn the thing on. I had it plugged into the power supply, but I didn't turn on the power supply. So, there we go. Okay, now we're good.
We've got quite a ways in, but I mean,
my headset just twitched, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! Oh no, it's on now." But yeah, you know, it's we're always like learning like different things, and he's always opening up different ways, and you know, it's so many different ways to communicate that I'm like, as long as we're communicating, because before I wasn't even communicating, you know what I mean? And this is all new for me. I mean, even though I grew up going to church and stuff.
One thing to always remember is that the Spirit meets you where you're at.
Right, yeah. That's what I was getting ready to say too when I was saying that, yeah.
And then he draws you to where you need to be. So you initially, I mean, your initial, it's like, if you ever try to say do this, hey, I'll do this stuff, but don't make me pray in front of people. Okay, and you know, for the longest time, I
had a hard time with that.
Don't ask me to close the group in prayer, please.
Right.
Don't ask me.
I was always like, oh my goodness,
oh my God, don't do that. I am not up for that. No way. And now I do it every single Sunday night. Every single small group, awesome. I'm the one that closes in prayer. It is a really, and I'm very comfortable with it now. But yeah, for the longest time, and I've been with this small group.
I've only done it a couple of times. It makes me nervous though. But it's practice.
And I'll even start the closing in prayer, and somebody else will jump in and be like, oh, we forgot to, you know, they realize that we forgot to pray for one. There's a prayer request that didn't get put in there. So they'll just say, and let's pray for it. And I'm like, oh, I jumped in too early. You know, and it happens. So
but some people can just, some people though, they just get me because they can just, like, when they pray though, it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
You know? It's just some people just blow my socks off. I've heard them.
I really don't have a whole lot of words, you know. I don't mind praying. I just don't have a whole lot of words.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I
like,
keep it short.
Yeah.
I just keep it short. You know?
Yeah.
If you want someone to go on and on about this and that,
and then Lord Father, and yes, Lord, oh, thank you. And it's like, okay, yes, we know we're praying to the Lord. Yes, we know that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yes,
some people they just have a knack.
They're just
like,
filling. They're like an auctioneer. They're just filling in.
Yeah.
And and you're sitting there just like, yes, I still love that person.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man.
So I am very. So it doesn't bother me like it used to. And if I'm called to pray, but it's just not a problem for me now. Again, there's that place that the Spirit has led me through the parts where I said, no way I'm praying for people. And if we were doing a corporate prayer, in a small group, and it's like I wouldn't ever even voice my concerns. But I was like, okay, what do you got going on? Oh, everything's fine. Clearly it's not. Okay.
That's what I would say. Fine.
Fine.
Yeah, they have the anagram. Was it No, it's not anagram. Anyway, when you go to like AA or something like that, they have what that fine stands for. I'm not going to say it, but
I'll say it for everybody. Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and
and emotional. Yeah, they say the other one, but it's like
we'll stick with that one right there.
We'll stick with that one.
So they start the F word comes out differently than freaked out.
Yeah, it depends on which place you go to.
But freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. I'm fine. So I spent a lot, but God led me to that point, and God led me to the point of becoming, a leader of the deacons in the church, which totally unexpected. I mean, the fact that He led me to even be a deacon in the first place, totally unexpected. I'm not going to say I was a good deacon. I was present. How about that? And it was difficult for me. It was a challenge. It definitely pulled me out of my comfort zone. But it put me in situations where I wasn't comfortable. But the Spirit kind of pulled me through that. And am I still an introvert? Yeah, I'm still an introvert. Just because I was able to do that doesn't mean mean I still don't recharge. I recharge by being alone. When we get off of this, I'm going to be. I've had enough. I'm done. I've had enough. We're good. Okay. Jake's all floating around over there. He's off camera even now.
He's floating. He's floating.
I think he's getting food. So.
You probably had it on the stove. Don't burn your
food. I had to turn my light on because I might lose my
the whatchamacallit. Yeah, we're almost done.
So, we're probably almost done here. But it's just that whole introvert thing. It does not mean I can't do these things. I can do these things. Just can't do them 24/7.
7, right? Yeah.
When we get done with this, I'm having a good time. We're having a great time. But like I said, I'm going to go into my kitchen. I'm going to start working on food and
I'm going to make another hamburger
alone. I'm going to be doing it alone. So, that's right.
Feed kitty cat, make another burger, and watch some TV and stuff like that. Gotta take her to the vet tomorrow. But so all right, well, let's close out and so we can turn it off. So all right, so thank you for joining us for another episode of Hanging with My Peeps, and again, another amazing group. And just bear with us. We're still getting some stuff done, but we figured we'd take you along on the journey of the second season and getting things worked out, and because we're still gonna have conversations, so we want to have you here.
I'll try a different room next time.
So all right, everybody. Have a great week. Bye.
Wave your elbow. Wave your elbow.
Wave your elbow. Bye.
I'm trying not to fly away.
That's so funny.
There you go. All right. Hey, that was pretty good. I think.